Hey everyone, it's Mrs. Bright. I hope you're all having a fantastic day today. I wanted to talk with you all today about how to make engaging presentations, how to use templates that are not the ones that are just in Google Slides or in PowerPoint. What we're gonna do today is we're gonna look at two template websites that I use a lot. We're gonna look at SlidesGo and SlidesCarnival. This is how I keep my presentations and the way I deliver content to my students really fun and engaging and beautiful. I know I've had multiple students over the years comment on how aesthetically pleasing they are and how they appreciate me taking the time to make the presentations more aesthetic. Now, it does take a little extra time than a typical template from Google Slides or from PowerPoint, whatever format you use, but I really do believe it is worth that little extra time. Overall, it is pretty easy to use, and I will go very step by step with you today. So by the end of our video, you are going to be a SlidesGo and SlidesCarnival Pro. So we're gonna go ahead and dive in. I'll show you some of the presentations that I've made for my students, some of the ways that I use it, some of the different ways you can engage your audience with it, and then we'll go ahead and go into just how to actually use it step by step. So hopefully this is helpful for you. Please feel free to like this video if you found it helpful and pass it along to your other teacher friends. If you'd like me to make a version for students, perhaps you teach high schoolers and you'd want them to start making more engaging presentations. I know I've also had some middle school students ask me, hey, how did you make it look so cool? I want to make mine look like that when I make presentations. So I show them how to use it. And if you want me to make a how-to video specifically for students, let me know and I'll go ahead and make one because I think that is a great tool to give what we learn to our students too, if they find it helpful. And you know, we want our students to make engaging PowerPoint or Google Slide presentations too. And so why not give them these tools too if you feel like they are ready for that. It can be a little extra time consuming, so I don't recommend it for lower grades. I do think this would work really well for high schoolers and middle school students who are ready for a little extra push to make their presentation a little more aesthetic. So we're gonna go ahead and dive in and let's check it out. All right, so I thought we would go ahead and start with looking at one of the presentations I've made with SlidesGo. Like I said, we're gonna look at two different presentation template websites today, and this one happened to be made on SlidesGo. They're pretty similar. They're not obviously the same, they're different websites, but they are very similar in terms of how they work. So as soon as you understand how to work one, you know how to work the other. It just gives you more template options to choose from. So what we're gonna go ahead and do, I just wanna show you a couple slides here for my presentation. And if you'd like me to create a video on how I set up my presentations to work well for my classroom and how I set up my lesson in general, just let me know in the comments and I'll be happy to make a video. I do have a very specific layout that I like to follow with my classroom and my teaching style. And if this is something that's interesting to you, if you're a newer teacher, or if you are maybe a more veteran teacher that wants to switch things up a little bit, just let me know and I'll go ahead and create one of those. But just looking at this aesthetically is what I want to do. Here, these flowers, all of this, I did not have to add in myself. These colors were already part of the template. So it was just a matter of plugging in my information and also my Bitmoji. So I've got my little Bitmoji here. I've got my good morning. I have a little check-in here. So that way I can, you know, ask how my students are doing, classwork check, CNN 10 or TED Talk, two truths and a lie, and a quote of the day. And so this was just a little bit of what we were going to do that day. This particular presentation I actually made for when we were hybrid. So it's a little bit different than how I typically would do things. So this was just like my automatic go-to that I would have up for the beginning of class. But as you can see, it's just really fun and a little bit more engaging than a typical slide. If we go over here, I have your typical presentation template that you would see from Google Slides. Now it says, welcome back to school. I'm so glad you're here. Let's say we were creating a welcome back to school presentation. So typically, if you are using Google Slides, you might use the background, you might change the background to a different color, or you might change the theme. So oftentimes I see people using like either the white background or the black background, or maybe they'll get a little bit fancy and they will go ahead and use like this one. This one was my go-to for a while. I really liked how this one was laid out. And there's nothing wrong with these. These are really quick and easy to use. So I do encourage you to use these. I'm not saying that these are bad. These are a great option for Google Slides if you are just making a quick presentation and you just want it to deliver the information and you are on a time crunch. This is perfect. Now, or if you just want something more simple. Now, today though, we're talking about making it a little bit more aesthetic, as the students would say nowadays. So here, let's go ahead and take a look at SlidesGo. So I'll start with SlidesGo and then I'll go ahead and show you SlidesCarnival. So here we've got the SlidesGo and PowerPoint template. So I typically work on Google Slides, so I'm just going to be showing you my slide presentations today, but this is interchangeable with PowerPoint. So let's say that we are creating a presentation for math class, okay? So you can search math, all right? And I don't teach math, so I'm actually not familiar with these ones because I never searched this up. But if we look down here, you can see that there are a bunch of different math ones and you can preview them. And you can also see which ones are premium. So that means that you would have to upgrade. So if you don't want to upgrade, that's totally fine because there are a lot of free ones. So this one's free right here. This one would not be. Premium is not free, but you can see here, these ones would be free. So let's say maybe you're interested in this math workshop for kids. So you can go ahead and click on it, or before you commit to clicking on it and opening up a whole nother tab, you could also just do a quick preview here by clicking on these little arrows, which is really helpful because you might decide real quick, oh, actually, I don't like that one. Let me look for a different one. And you might decide, hey, let's go with funny math lesson. So as you click through that one, you might prefer this layout or the little characters that it comes with. This might be the way that you want to go. So let's say this is the one that we're clicking. So we'll go ahead and open that up. And here you can download the template through PowerPoint if that's how you prefer to make your presentations, or through Google Slides. So like I said, I prefer working with Google Slides. So what I would do is I'm going to go ahead and click on Google Slides. Now, before I open that template up, I did want to mention that sometimes there are other color options that they will give you for the presentations. This particular one, it doesn't look like it, but usually they'll show up like right obviously on your screen, and you'll just select which color you want. So maybe when I go through the other ones, we'll be able to see that. But we're going to go ahead and just download this template. So it's going to go ahead and open it up, and it's going to say, would you like to make a copy of Funny Math Lesson by SlidesGo? You are going to make a copy. And then you'll wait for it to load. All right, so once it's done loading, this is your copy. This is the one that you are going to work with. Now, what you're going to do is you're going to go ahead and change the title so it's easy for you to find depending on whatever lesson you're making. So let's say maybe just week 1 math, however you want to title it. And then you're going to go ahead and put your title here. So instead of Funny Math Lesson, you're just going to double click here and you're going to go ahead and take out that title and you're going to make it your own title. So let's say I want it to be week 1 math. We'll keep it simple. All right, so right there, I just changed the title. You can change the colors if you want right here, text color. Now you'll notice that it says Math Lesson by SlidesGo. These are the colors that match up with this presentation. It keeps it all within the same color schemes. So I do suggest using these if you can. If you say, well, there's no black on here and I want to use black text, that's fine. But I do suggest using these colors that they suggest here because it's going to keep the flow of it pretty, it's going to keep the flow of it. So we'll go ahead and leave it as white though, because that's fine. And then you're just going to edit the text wherever you need. Now, let's say this slide here, you just really like that it's simple, you like the color. Just delete all this right here after you've read it because it does have some good information here. And then you just type in your information that you want, change the title, and then you can make copies of this particular slide if you like. So Command C and then Command V. If you're on a Mac, if not, just do your typical copy and paste. And here, let's say you do not like this particular slide layout or the character or anything about it, just delete it. All right, so it's easy to get rid of. Let's say you also don't want this one, delete it. All right, so you take what you like, delete what you don't like. This is the part that does take some time. And I know some fellow teachers have expressed that, this is actually really time consuming. I don't know if I'm going to use it. That's fine. Like I said earlier, those other templates that Google Slides and PowerPoint offer within their system, those work just fine. They're simple, they're to the point, and you can add in pictures as you want to make it engaging. There's nothing against those. I just really wanted to share with you all how I make mine a little extra aesthetically pleasing or a little bit extra engaging. So I'll go ahead and show you a few more of the presentations I've already made, just so you can see a few more ways that this works well. So this is a lesson that I really enjoyed making. I felt like the template worked really well. So this one was Life in the West, and it was a lesson on Lewis and Clark. And so this was all included with the template. I just added in my content. I have my essential question. I have what we did earlier this week, what we were doing today. I had my little, and I had my way of getting the students thinking about what we were going to get into today and kind of hooking them for the lesson. And so you can see all of this little trail, like this little map, I guess decoration, this was already there for me. All I had to do was enter my text, and I added this picture here for my lesson. So you can make it really engaging and fit your lesson really well. It's just a way to make your students go, wow, at the beginning. And then from there, you still need to use a lot of your other tools in your teacher tool bag to keep the lesson engaging, just magically snapping your fingers and saying, hey, let me use SlidesGo and SlidesCarnival. It won't, keep your students' attention if you yourself and your lesson are not engaging. But this does definitely help. It's one of those tools in our tool bag that we can use in our favor. Here's another one that I want to show you that I really liked. This was for grading and expectations that I went over early in the school year. And so, what's going on this week, percentages, and it just went over different things. And I showed my late policy, honor code, like all these different things that I went over with them. And so this was just a general presentation, and I felt like this was a fun one for this. And then here's another one. This is the back to school one that I like to use. This was for this past year with COVID. So we had a lot of, digital going on that school year. And so I decided to keep within that theme. And so I have my title here, Back to School, Intro to Government with me. And I'm not going to show my quick introduction because it shows the school at which I work. But down here, I'll show you another slide that came with the template. And so it is a fun way to make it more engaging. And so that one, I believe this one was from SlidesGo as well. So as you can see, I've been showing you mostly SlidesGo, but SlidesCarnival also is very similar in the way that it works. I'll show you that website real quick. Here we've got free PowerPoint templates in Google Slides. So you can just see their popular ones. Maybe this one jumped out at you and you're like, ooh, that's perfect. We're talking about, Edison and Tesla or something like that. Whatever you might be talking about, you might be like, oh, that works. Or how light bulbs work. If you're a science teacher, I don't know if that's something you would teach. But here you can even search by color. So let's say maybe you want something green. Sometimes there are ads that'll pop up. You're just going to close that out, and then it'll bring you here. Be careful not to click on the advertisement. Sometimes they do put advertisement like little slides here. And it does look a lot like a potential template. So right here, this would not be something to click, just as a quick FYI for you all. I know sometimes they can be tricky, so just be careful not to click the advertisement because that won't lead you to a template. This one right here says advertisement. But these other ones here you can use. So if we go down and you're like, oh, this is a really cool green one, I want to talk about healthy food, and you might click that open. And you can go to preview and download by clicking on that button or just scrolling down. And let's say you like it, you've previewed it, and you're like, oh, this is perfect. You can use as a Google Slide theme. It'll create a copy, and then you'll go ahead and start making it. Now, one more quick tip. Don't go here where it says start now. This is another advertisement. You can see ad choices with a little X in the corner. These sites do have a lot of advertisements, so just be careful with that. And that's another thing. If you do happen to have your students use it, just go over, tips with internet usage with them. This is a perfect time to say, hey, this is what you'd want to click. This is not what you'd want to click. And you also would want to check with your district, is this an okay website to have my students use? I personally haven't found any issues with it, but again, district by district, teacher by teacher, it is up to you to see whether or not you want your own students to use these websites. But I know as a teacher, I love using them for my own presentations, and I know what I should and should not click. So this is something that I really do find useful. So I hope this was helpful for you all. Go ahead and let me know in the comments if you started using it and how it went for you in your lesson. Remember to like this video and pass it on to your fellow coworkers if it worked well for you. I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Bye, everybody.